Yeah, so I meant to do a video first thing this morning in the house, and I forgot. So I kind of started doing some prep stuff, like some stretching and bits and bobs, and obviously I filmed all that shit, but then I forgot to actually do a video. So this is a very different feeling, man. Like I ran that first half marathon last year in November by myself, and now it's like there's hundreds of people here, man. It's a very, very different feeling knowing that I'm going to be doing this with all these people here. To me just waking up in the morning and running out my front door. It's like very, very different feeling. So I'm actually pretty nervous, which is weird. I think it's a combination of the fact that it's my first official run. There's hundreds of people here, so it feels a bit more official, and also the fact that training the last couple of weeks hasn't quite been as good as I would have liked it to have been. But do you know what, man? It is what it is. So I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to kind of crack on, see what I can do. I really wanted to make under 2 hours from my time, but I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen. The route's a lot flatter than the route I ran last year. It's in fact a lot of kind of downhills in it, only a couple of small uphills, so in that sense it should be faster in and of itself. I won't be stopping to take pictures every 2 minutes. And take some videos every 2 minutes. I'll obviously try and take some videos as I go around the run, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens, man. If I can beat the 2:45 at the last year, or 2:46 at the last year, I'll be delighted, and I think I should manage that. So, yeah, we'll see you halfway through the run. So, well, too early. I completely forgot to start it at the start. I do a video at the start because the right thing was going last. Heart rate absolutely spiked. I don't know if that's because of nerves or what it was, but ego. Right, 2 or 3 miles in now, so feeling pretty good. Sit around the rhythm. I'll see what happens. I'm fucking proper fast. Holy shit, man. Hope I'm just flying by me, it's nuts. There you go. You're running your own race, so I'll find out when we do a regular update, but so far, I feel pretty good. So that's just under halfway. That's the step up in the game. Still feeling pretty good. Weather's turned out a bit, thankfully, so hundreds of folk wasn't buying like proper fast. But anyway, so happy done. If I can maintain this pace, then hopefully this should fit around 2 hours, which is manageable goal. So see what happens. So 9 miles in, 15k. Which at this point, to my solo run last year, they are still right out it. So cardio-wise, I feel pretty good. My legs are making convinced. I'm an hour and a half in, so again it's a PB for that distance. So 60 left. I can do that in 40 minutes. Then I'll be just over 2 hours for the run, so I'll be absolutely fucking delighted with that. But yeah, what an awesome run, man. Views have been brilliant. The route's been pretty flat, a lot of downhills. The support along the way, man, you know, so different to doing it on your own. It's awesome. That's my run. I'm trying so hard to help the pace, but my legs are done, man. So I'm going to get to like a mile out and I'll really try and push on. So look forward to the end. Nice big cuddle off the Cameron, that's what's really driving me now. I wanted to stop like a mile ago, but I know she's waiting, so I want to finish strong, so let's see. Let's see, I don't give up. It's about to push me on now, so let's keep it. So that's that done. That last couple of miles was brutal. My legs are trashed. Cardio-wise, I feel good. Leg-wise, endurance-wise, my legs, that's what I've noticed. As I say, the last couple of weeks, my training it wasn't really as good as I was hoping it was going to be. I didn't kind of get as many miles in as I would have hoped. And that's what really showed up that last couple of miles there. Cardio-wise, it's not bad at all. A bit of a drain in the last half mile as I came in towards the finish line. The lungs were kind of pumping a bit, but overall, not too bad. Around 2 hours 20ish, I think, which is slower than I wanted. I wanted under 2 hours, and I was on course for that up until probably the 15k mark, and then I naturally started to kind of slow down at that point, with the hope that I was going to push for that last 2 miles, mile and a half, 2 miles, but we also ran into a massive headwind, and it went a little bit uphill within that last 6 kilometres, so it was quite unexpected, but hey ho, do you know what, initially when I first started kind of training I was hoping for 2 hours, but because the last couple of weeks had gone the way it did, I was going to be just happy to come in under the 2.5, so I beat that. 2 hours, I think it was 2:21 or something, I think, thereabouts. I'll get the official time and I'll post it obviously at the bottom of this, but yeah, so that's it done. First official one in the bag, got a t-shirt, got my medal, well, Cameron's got my medal, she's still off. But I'll do a kind of full debrief once I get home and get stretched off, and yeah, hopefully get my legs swimming a bit better. I've got up a carpet now, fun times. But overall, man, I've got to say, awesome event. Really enjoyed it, brilliant run. Most definitely do it again. Don't feel quite as burst after this one as I did after the last one. So all in all, absolutely delighted. And like I say, I'll do a full debrief on it later and let you know if there's any lessons I've learned and what I'm going to do different next time. Right, so I was going to do a full debrief of my half marathon yesterday, and if I'm being honest, man, I completely forgot. Well, I didn't necessarily forget. I was burst. I was absolutely knackered. So by the time I got home, I went for a quick pint at the pub, which is something unusual for me. I don't normally do that, but I really fancied a pint. So I went for a quick pint. By the time I came home and had my dinner, I got in the bath and I was knackered, man. I just wanted to go to my bed. So the thought of coming in here to do anything was, yeah, the thought was there, and then it very quickly was gone. So yeah, so here we go. This is my rundown of the half marathon yesterday. So or whenever you're watching this, I ran it yesterday. This will probably go live in a few days time, so it wouldn't have been yesterday depending on your time of watching, but I ran the marathon on Sunday the 18th of August, or the half marathon. And yeah, what a brilliant race. Absolutely phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed it. For the most part, I think I had a massive smile on my face pretty much all the way. The last couple of miles were a real grind. They were a real challenge, and I could feel myself struggling, and I wanted to stop. I wanted to just walk and take my time, but I also wanted to keep running because I wanted to make sure that I ran the whole race. So yeah, overall, absolutely phenomenal race. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Will definitely do it again, and I know that I can do it faster than I did. So what have I kind of learned from this experience? So my last half marathon that I did, I ran by myself. I done a solo effort because the official one got cancelled. It was cancelled like a few days before. So rather than throwing all that training out the window, I decided to go and run it myself. Now, I committed to that 7 weeks out. I didn't really give it the full respect that it deserved. I was quite naive as to what was actually involved in running a half marathon. I could run 15k, and I thought, yeah, you know, I'll be alright, man, I could run a half marathon. And when I got to that point in my first effort, the arse fell clean right out it. I lost control of my legs, my cardio kind of failed a wee bit. I was actually not too bad cardio wise, but there were certain points that I was blowing at my arse, and I found it a real struggle, if I'm being honest. And I was sore for days and days and days after, so I didn't give it the full respect it deserved.
This time around, I didn't want to make that mistake. This time around, I had a full training plan in place. I really researched how to race properly, how to run properly. I had a full training plan in place for the gym, a full training plan in place for my running. And I honestly do think it paid off dividends. Now, unfortunately, the timing was a bit crap because the school holiday for the kids, or the school holidays, sorry, the summer holidays for the kids kind of landed right in the middle of kind of my training prep. So for the last sort of 4 weeks, I've also had a holiday in Serbia in that time and a wee holiday in Glencoe, where alcohol's been involved and training's maybe been affected a wee bit. Not too much alcohol, but there has been a few beers here and there. So I would say that probably did have a negative impact, and I probably could have performed a little bit better on the day. But that being said, I'm still happy with my performance. So my overall time was 2 hours and 23 minutes. I was hoping to do it in under 2 hours. You know, my training was kind of pushing towards that, and I was looking good for that. Like I say, the last 4 weeks things fell off. I went from running 4 times a week down to 2 times a week, which isn't ideal. My gym sessions went down to 1 a week, and I just wasn't as consistent in training as I had been up until that point. So I definitely think that had an impact, and it definitely stole a little bit of time from me. So I know that I can run that a lot faster. With that being said, I did hit a couple of PBs along the way. I hit a fairly fast 5k. I think I was about 26 minutes across 5k, and I was just under the hour for 10k, which is fast for me. For me, that's really fast. So I was over the moon with that. And at that point when I hit the 10k mark, I actually thought, do you know what, man, I'm going to come in maybe just over the 2 hours. I was expecting maybe about 2 hours 10, and I was feeling so good. And it was, again, it was probably around about the 15k mark, just after I've got it on video. I kind of filmed myself saying it, that this is where the arse fell out at the last time around, and it was around about there that I started to feel like I was struggling. I wouldn't say the arse fell out at this time, but I certainly could feel it. The fatigue was starting to build. I could feel my legs getting a lot heavier. I could feel the kind of accumulative effect on the cardio starting to kind of build up, so my heart rate was starting to really race. And just on that point with the heart rate, I don't know if this was a nerves thing or I don't know what to put it down to. My heart rate really spiked. Very early on, my heart rate spiked. It went way through the roof, pretty much right away, to the point that I thought, holy shit, man, I am not going to be able to sustain this for the whole race. I really thought I was going to struggle. Luckily, it seemed to balance out, and while my heart rate, if I look at my heart rate monitor, I said I was in zone 5 for the whole way. I was redlining the whole way, but my body didn't feel like that. I could still hold conversation. I was able to talk to the camera. I was able to stop and take drinks. Well, not stop, but I was able to take drinks while I was running. You know, I was able to kind of keep myself under control. I didn't feel like my heart rate was going wild, but my heart rate monitor certainly said different. So I don't know if that was just a malfunction on the day for the monitor, or if my heart actually was going bananas. I don't know. But I didn't start feeling the effects of that until around about that 15-16k mark. Now, even at that point there, I still felt like I was going to get a faster time than I did. I thought I was right on track. And around about sort of 16-17k, things started to change. The course went from being mostly downhill and flat to a bit more undulating. It was a bit more up and down. It wasn't massive uphills, but there were still a few hills in there. And then the wind, man. I got round one corner into the 17k mark, and this wind just blasted me in the face. It made it tough, man. Like running into that, when it was just pushing me back, I was like, oh, something to really grind to get through it. And that lasted for easy a good kilometre and a half, like easy. You know, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when that's your last sort of, what was that, 17k, that gets my last 4 kilometres of the race. You know, if I'm grinding into that for a kilometre and a half to 2 kilometres, man, it had an effect. So that last couple of kilometres, that last mile that I was running, Jesus Christ, man, that was rough. It was really, really tough. And I think at that point there, that's when I wanted to stop. Like up until then, I didn't really have the urge or the desire to stop. I wanted to keep going. I had a smile on my face. I was happy. But at that point there, in my head was like, right, you need to walk. You need to walk now, man. And I didn't do it. I kept pushing. I kept on grinding through. My legs were shaking. I could feel my heart really starting to go at that point. And the only thing that kept me going, and I think I've mentioned this in one of the videos, I can't remember what I've said in all the videos. Like I say, I'm doing this a day later, my brain's a bit scrambled. The only thing that kept me going was knowing that Hazel and Cameron were waiting at the finish line for me. I knew they were going to be there, and I didn't want to be walking in, because I didn't know at what point in the kind of finish line. I didn't know if they were going to get to the finish line or if they were going to be on the kind of the procession up to the finish line, and I didn't want Cameron to see me walking. I wanted her to see me running. I wanted her to see me going through that struggle and running, and then I wanted to smile at her and be happy when I was running through, which I managed to do. I think I managed to muster a smile. Originally, I'd intended to grab Cameron and have her run into the finish line with me, but at that point there, all I could think of was, I need to get over that line. I have to get over that finish line. So I seen my wife and my daughter, which was incredible. That was amazing. It really made my day. Big smile on my face. I got past the finish line, and yeah, dear God, man, I thought I was going to fall over. I managed to stay on my feet. I managed to kind of get up, and people are then ushering you through to get to the next stage, because there's more and more people coming through. But yeah, what a feeling, man. What a feeling. Like, the difference between doing that solo and just walking out my front door on a manky Sunday afternoon when it's cold and wet and miserable, and going away and grinding myself, nobody cheering you on, nobody there at the finish line waiting on me, just me, myself, my own thoughts, and me just doing that thing. That was horrible. So the difference yesterday, where there were people all round and clapping, and they're reading your name badge or your race number, your name's on your race number, they're reading that off and they're shouting you, and there's people giving you Haribos, and man, the camaraderie was incredible. It was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. And yeah, I mean, I'll definitely do another one. I definitely will do another one. I wanted to do the Loch Ness Marathon in 7 weeks' time, but if I'm being honest, again, because of my experience with my first half marathon and not giving that the respect it deserved, I was convinced that I would be able to do this and then go straight into the training for that. And it's not going to be the case for a couple of reasons. One, Hazel's shifts are not really working in favour of me actually getting to it. Like, it would have been a bit of a kerfuffle. We would have managed it, but it would have been a bit of a kerfuffle. But I think to give the race the respect it deserves and not make the same mistake I did with my first unofficial half marathon, I think I want to actually give it a proper run at training. So if I can find another half marathon before now and the end of the year that I can do, then I might give that a little shot, just so I can do another one, see if I can get that time down a little bit, and definitely give that a go. And then I'll look at doing a marathon in the start of next year, or maybe towards the sort of springtime next year, with the view to being maybe in the summertime looking to do an ultra marathon. And I know that sounds like a massive big jump, but there's a lot of kind of walking involved with that as well. So that's my kind of intention. I am going to do a video on that later on, once I've kind of looked at different things and see what's what. I'll do a little video where I'll put together what my intentions are, what things I'm going to work towards, and what my calendar's going to kind of look like over the next year. But that's the rough idea of what's happening in my head just now. But from a person that hates running, man, like I'm not a massive fan of running, I can honestly say that yesterday was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The route was incredible. The people coming together to cheer you and shout you on, and oh man, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so happy I did it. I'm so happy I put the work in and got it done. Lessons to be learned. I know where I need to work, like that 15k to the 21k mark to the finish. There's definitely something going wrong. Maybe not going wrong there, but there's things I need to work on in that portion of the run to make sure that I can keep on pushing past that, because if the arse keeps on falling out at there, then how I'm going to get from a half marathon to a marathon, I don't know, and I'm hitting a big block at that point. So I need to keep on putting the work in to make sure I can get past that point. And I think, to be honest, it's just putting the miles in. I've only really started doing this like since November last year, or October last year. That's when September last year, because that would have been the 7 weeks training. So September last year is really when I started taking running quite seriously. So it's not a lot of time. I've not even been doing this fully for a year yet. So yeah, I think it's just a case of putting in the extra miles. But with that being said, it's something I know that I've got the numbers there. I can look and see where I was falling down, look and see what I need to kind of build up and what I need to kind of work towards. And then yeah, I've got things to improve upon. So my actual stats, if I read them off, man, when I read my time, I was like, yeah, man, I'm delighted with that. But then when I look at it, I look at it and go, my position overall was 3,292nd out of 4,234. So it's not brilliant. There's improvement to be made. Position for males was 1,988th out of 2,259. So again, improvement to be made. And then the position for the over 40s, I was 234th out of 269 over 40s. So yeah, I definitely need to improve. There's definite room for improvement. I can definitely get that down a bit, and I want to. I'm not saying I want to win these things, because the people that were winning them were coming in like an hour's time. What the hell, man? But I would definitely like to get that down a bit. I'd like to get down into the hundreds if possible. Maybe yeah, late hundreds would be good. That'd be quite nice, because that's a massive improvement on what I've done already. So yeah, so that's me. That first official half marathon done. I'm feeling good mentally. I'm feeling good emotionally. I'm feeling broken physically. My legs were in tatters yesterday. My hamstrings really took a pounding. My hip flexors are really sore this morning. The innards of my thighs are really sore. Quads aren't bad. Calves aren't bad. My feet were sore yesterday, but they feel good today. It's just my hamstrings, man. My hamstrings and into my hips really sore. But that being said, I was at the gym today. Went through a full body session. There's details of that on my Instagram page if you want to kind of hop along and look at it. And yeah, it felt good just to get the body moving, rather than just sitting about in the house doing bugger all. I went and just done a nice light session and just got things moving. So I'll have a really good stretch tonight, another good stretch tomorrow, and then I'll hopefully be back out running on Wednesday. So yeah. That's it. That's the first official half marathon done. And this is actually the first video I've done, or second video I've done since my last half marathon. So I've really let this channel slip. And I want to change that, man. I want to kind of bring this back up, because I was doing one of these videos a week every week, so I want to really change that this year. At the tail end of this year, there's going to be a big push on getting this channel back up and running, and it's going to be mostly me documenting my own training, with the odd with interviews with other people. You know, I think one of the reasons I put it off was because I was struggling to find content every day, and I was like, oh, I was stressing myself out, and I didn't feel it was healthy. So this is going to be a channel mostly now dedicated to me documenting my own training journeys, things that I'm doing training wise, and things that I'm working towards, and also having some interviews with other people within the fitness field, mental health field, and all that kind of stuff, to really help hopefully give you guys some good quality content to help you in areas of your life that you may be struggling. So but yeah, that's a video for the future where I talk about that more in depth. But anyway, listen, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. I am going to now go and have another wee stretch, because my legs are starting to feel a bit tight. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.